We are here again, 2 years after the revolt in Minnesota, the rebellion in Minnesota. This is the 2-year anniversary of that rebellion after the murder of George Floyd. On this day, people felt they needed to take matters in their own hands. Do you remember that? And 2 years ago, we made promises about things being different. And there has been some movement, but we all know not enough. Would you agree? And so here we are again, responding to not one massacre, but 2 within days of each other, affecting families of different racial and ethnic backgrounds, geographical locations, political positions, faith concerns. Seems to be that the only thing that does not discriminate is violence. Seems that it knows everybody's address and manages somehow to include us all. Not just any violence, gun violence. Seems to me that we haven't quite come to feel the effects of it enough as a society to change the relationship that we have with guns and gun violence in our nation. Today, you might be uncomfortable in the service. You may have been uncomfortable as we took a very painfully long time to acknowledge each and every soul, including the person pulling the trigger. But there is no degree of discomfort. Have a little feedback, Chris. There is no degree of discomfort that can compare to those families, the cities, the lives that will irrevocably have irrevocably been destroyed. This morning, we are invited to share in this experience in a different way. And perhaps we'll have different outcomes as we move forward. Yes? Ushers, in light of everything that we're moving through today, I'm going to ask that we limit movement in and out of the sanctuary, around the doors, because Rev Kev needs that right now. Not an easy day to be your minister. We were having a wonderful lesson series, weren't we? We're talking about Mayflowers, yeah? Talking about booming and blooming. Well, we're going to have to interrupt that series for a moment. I want to talk to you a little bit about why Jesus wept. So many of us are familiar with that passage of Scripture as being the shortest passage in the Bible, yeah? Jesus wept. And as the story goes, he learned of his dear friend Lazarus, who became ill. He was notified of this by Mary and Martha. And he loved his friend Lazarus. But he became ill and sick unto death. And so they called for Jesus to come. Jesus took a little while to get there. I think the scripture says 2 days before he got to the scene. And when he got there, he was confronted by Mary and Martha about, what took you so long? Why weren't you here right away? We know that if you had come, if you were here in time, our brother would be alive today. And he had to encounter that more than once from them. And eventually, he informed them that Lazarus is not dead, but merely sleeping. And we know the famous story of Jesus calling Lazarus forth to be resurrected. But it was upon learning of this news, it was upon encountering the news of the death of someone he loved that Jesus wept. We're told in Ecclesiastes, I have a lot of feedback, a lot of echo, and I'm doing my best to stand up here and talk today. Need all the help I can get. Just want to be honest. Is that all right? Need all the help I can get. Because I don't know it all. I have no idea what in God's... Any rate, let me try to get through. Try to get through. All right. But he wept because the friend that he loved, it says that he passed. And something about our capacity to feel the hurt, the pain, the suffering of another, even when you're supposed to have the answer, even when you're the one who can make it all go away, there is something about our oneness that connects us to the suffering and pain of others if we allow it to be so. And sometimes, Camila, I can't today. I can't today, okay? I simply can't. Put it away. I can't. All right. I need everybody to pray with me today that I get at least 10 minutes of the sermon through. I am upset with what has happened. I'm not through being angry about it. I'm frustrated with what has occurred. And maybe today you need to see that. I usually work it out before I get here on Sundays. But this aggravates the hell out of me. Because it need not be so. We're spiritually lazy. We're spiritually lazy. We just won't do the work required. This is why Jesus wept. He was sad because his friend died, but he was sad that there were people at the scene who he had taught and walked with and prayed with and showed the way, and they did not have the capacity to do the work that needed to happen right on the scene. They waited for him to get there. What are we waiting for? We've been sold a bill of goods about Jesus returning so that when Jesus returns and all of this will go away. No! You're the Jesus on the scene. And over and over and over and over and over and over again, the same story, different characters. The mother of one of the children, a couple of the mothers of the children are saying maybe we should do an open casket ceremony so that the American society can see. You see, we have the luxury and convenience of over 1,000 channels that we can turn to be a sedative to us when these things occur. I've got Netflix and Amazon Prime and name them, Disney, and all of this. We can change it like it is not real. We are a society that has been purposefully desensitized. Did you hear what I said? We have enough distraction to keep the duality going, to keep the polarization going, to keep the violence going. We have all the distraction in the world to make us unfeel what must be felt if there is going to be a change. So we're busy unfeeling, saying stupid stuff like, well, that's just Texas. Texas and their politics with guns. It happened in New York as well, for all the liberals who want to blame Texas. Are you hearing me today? There's a sickness in our society that we value guns over human life. Do you understand that? And it must be said. In God we trust. No, in guns we trust. Tell the truth and stay in church this morning. And so I'm upset about it. And maybe if we get upset about it, maybe if we get aggravated enough, we will examine the things that we are being conditioned to not examine. We are purposefully kept blind Because there are powerful forces in this world that benefit from our duality, that benefit from us fighting each other. Are you hearing me this morning? This is why Jesus wept. He wept because he knew that this would not be the last instance of violence. He was leaving one situation of death about to face his own crucifixion. He knew the state of the human condition, and that soon he would be leaving the physical planet. And oh God, if I who came here to bring light, if I who came here to speak the truth, he said, for this end was I born, and for this cause came I into the world, that I would bear witness unto the truth. Everyone who is of the truth hears my voice. If I came to do all of this, and I healed and performed miracles, I did all of this, and if I will face in just a few days my own crucifixion, oh, I must weep over the condition of my people, over society, because even those bearers of light become martyrs because of the madness left unchecked in our society. So it does not surprise me that this occurred in Mental Health Awareness Month. Talk to me this morning. Because we use these events as scapegoats from dealing with the real issue. Are you hearing me today? Well, the young man was mentally ill. Obviously, he was mentally ill, but he had the weaponry in his capability to take out 19 children, 2 adults. What do you need an AK-47 for? What do you need it for? Except to harm people. Oh, I don't care if you're quiet today. And so another false binary comes into play. The binary of mental health and mental illness versus the Second Amendment. Are you hearing me? And as long as we can keep the binaries going, you have an elected Congress that gets there, that gets to say, see, this is why we can't get anything done. No, you lack the moral courage to do what must be done. I almost can't. Oh. Private jets and private dinners and visits with lobbyist organizations, and they have come in this very room and face the public and ask, what are you doing about this? And what are you doing about that? And what are you doing about this? And after all of the hyperbole, no different than Mary and Martha, who was at the scene that day, the answer comes back, nothing. What must we do in order to move ourselves forward? Number one, we cannot spiritual bypass when these things happen. Our unity people, our New Thought people have a tendency to go into this Om Shanti world, the lotus position, and we're just going to Om it away. How's that working for us? Well, Rev Kev, I don't want to add to any more of the negativity by getting angry. Neutrality is a form of violence itself. Taking no position is taking a position. So spiritual bypassing, which is this thing of trying to project that I'm above it all, that you're so heavenly bound, you're no earthly good. I don't want to feel all of that. I don't want to feel all. I don't want to get that in my energy field. That's not spiritual. That's negative. That's negative thinking. No. Jesus wept to demonstrate for us that it is important for us to be tapped in, tuned in, turned on by the human condition so that we may become fully human and exercise our divinity. Are you hearing me? That's why I took extra long to call all the names. Let's just sit in it. Let us sit in it for longer than 30 seconds. In a news story. Sit with the pain, yours and mine. Sit with the frustration long enough to catch what Jesus caught. Enough sadness, but also enough compassion to act. Ecclesiastes tells us there's a time for sadness. You got to let sad things make you sad. We cannot move through this life unfeeling. It is that kind of social numbness that gives permission for these repeated occurrences. Being spiritual means that I recognize the mystical principle that when I go down deeply enough in myself, I come up in everyone else. The color of pain is the same in me as it is in you. Are you hearing me? Let me feel it. Let me feel it. Let me touch it. Let me close enough to it so that maybe I can evolve. And what kind of evolution must we make? Because it's comfortable for me to blame the politicians today and the gun manufacturers today. But what do I say of myself? Have I changed any? Well, I come to a place like Unity. That's good. But what about my well-rehearsed political positions? Have I dealt with them even after recognizing that perhaps, just my belief in it, even if I don't act on it, gives more space in the world for this kind of violence to be proliferated? Have I examined myself enough? Examined my fears? Some of us feel like we have a solution. Some of us are very strong on this thing of gun violence. Strong on this thing of reckless hate speech. We're very strong. We feel strongly opposed to it. But would I dare have a conversation with people in my family? Talk to me this morning. Would I dare have a conversation with people in my family who I know are staunch and rooted down in it? Have I risked anything for the change? Don't come talking to me about how wrong it is if you won't make one single adjustment within yourself. Risk something for it. We've got to be willing to put ourselves on the line. Maybe you need to feel what it is like to be wrong about something. How often do we avoid being told we were wrong about something? Whether it's the temperature in the house, or political position. Failure to make the adjustment stunts us in our spiritual, social, and human evolution. We have arrested development. And so we move through society holding on safely to the positions that make us feel comfortable. And rather than having empathy where we can connect with and try to deeply understand what's going on with our beloveds in Texas and Buffalo, wherever they are, we take pity. Oh, those people over there. And we plan our vacations. Did you hear what I said? Because we can't believe that this could be us. The primary cause for all of our suffering is that we are made in the very spiritual image and likeness of God. But as Rev Eric pointed out in our conversation this past Thursday Night Live, the secondary cause of our suffering is our unwillingness to change. After you have been informed that you're made in the spiritual image and likeness of God, after you have been told that you are filled with the love of God, that you are here to be a force for good in the world, and you don't change something about you, or let yourself be changed by something that occurs, then we are equally culpable with those who do these heinous acts. Because it is permission by omission. What did I say it is? Permission by omission. The other day after Sunday service, one of our longstanding members gave me another 10 years of service here. Drina came up to me after service and she said, Ref Kev, you know, I've been in Unity a long time. She said, but it wasn't until you came here that I realized that I can do something every day. I can do something every day to make the world a better place. And that went a long way with me, Drina. It went a long way with me, because that's what I'm here for. We can have churches of thousands that are drunk with the wine of the world, that are entertained well on Sundays. Oh, there's some good entertaining churches around here. I'm telling you, they can entertain you. But are you inspired to change yourself? Change yourself first. I need to change me. Say with me, it's me, oh Lord. Come on. Standing in the need of prayer. It's me, oh Lord. Of the thousands of churches and houses of worship all over this earth, millions, there's a war in Ukraine right now. Somehow we have not been able to collectively deem obsolete that we can solve our problems with dialogue. What a concept. I don't know if it's true in God we trust. I don't know that. You know why? Not enough evidence. Did you hear what I said? We can stand up and be righteous about how wonderful it is to live in this great democracy and how we're the mightiest nation on earth, because we have nuclear arms pointed all over the earth at other countries that we do not trust. Are you hearing me? Easy to do that. You've got the mightiest military, and we remember our military today, this weekend, yes? But wouldn't it be great that in the executive cabinet we started focusing on having a Department of Peace rather than a Department of War? What a concept! Jesus said, "Blessed are the peacemakers." Blessed are the peace, what? Makers. Blessed are the peace, what? Makers. And a gun is not a peacemaker. Did you hear what I said? It's a hell raiser. That's what it is. And I am not telling people here that if you own a gun, that something is wrong with you. I just wish that our society can evolve from the place where this is the way we solve our problems. That's what I'm saying. And to be clear, I am saying I take a firm position on having assault rifles proliferate our country. I don't think it's right. I believe that those that we send to represent us, if they lack the moral courage, the intestinal fortitude, the ovarian audacity, the testicular will, if they lack this, then send them packing. Send them home. It remains true that the most powerful person in a democracy is not the president. It's not the Congress. It's not our armed forces even. It's we, the people. Lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met thee, lest our heart drunk with the wine of the world, drunk with the wine of the world, drunk with the wine. Turn the TV off long enough to remember that you're the single most powerful person in our democracy. We the people. It is in that awakening then the values of co-creating a world that works for all have a real chance of becoming, because I'm awake now. I'm awake. This is not the first time in human history, in American history, that the ravage of violence and hatred was so intense that parents had to think the unthinkable. I had the privilege of meeting Mamie Till. and having the conversation with her about what it meant for her to make the grueling decision to have an open casket at her son Emmett's service in Chicago, so that the nation might be desensitized, might wake up from its desensitization and be resensitized to their humanity. She was hoping that a law would change. Hearts and minds would be outraged enough to do something different. And so it was. And here we are again. As we speak, there are people from Sacramento visiting Alabama, going through those tours down in the South right now, civil rights tours, right now, trying to feel. Did you hear what I said? Trying to feel. What was this pain? What was this suffering? Trying to connect to it enough so that leaders can come back to this region and relate to the struggles that we're facing here today. Oh God, let us feel what we need to feel so that we can become who we must become, and then change what needs to be changed, because we are still the light of the world. Nobody's coming. You have been sent. We have been sent already. We have been sent already. Let's not forget it. And so it is written, and so I have spoken it, and so you have heard it, and so it is. Amen.